Biden feeling the heat and goes off the rails again in another speech. And Republicans flip a Texas congressional seat that's been held by Democrats for 150 years. Let's bring in our Saturday political panel to discuss that and more. Kelly Sadler is the commentary editor for the Washington Times, and Ian Haworth is a conservative commentator. All right, President Biden feeling the pressure as criticism of the administration mounts. He had another one of these "let's yell into the microphone" minutes, for 15 minutes at the AFL-CIO earlier this week. Kelly, I'll go to you first. This speech was borderline unhinged.
Yeah.
And yesterday he was answering questions on the South Lawn, and the First Lady literally interrupted him and pulled him away. There now appears not even to be an agenda, just sort of yelling and telling you that there's nothing to see here. Your thoughts?
No, absolutely. And his speech at the AFL-CIO, sorry, that was a mouthful, basically was filled with lies. It was chocked full of lies, saying that, we have the lowest inflation in the world. Well, actually, that is not true. Of the G20 nations, 14 have lower inflation than we do here in the U.S. And that household debt's at an all-time low. Well, that's not true. Household debt has actually grown by $1.5 trillion under the Joe Biden administration. Where are the fact checkers when you need them? If Donald Trump were to say these mistruths, he'd be called out almost immediately. But Joe Biden, instead of pivoting course and altering, policy, just is sticking with these lies and trying to jam them down our throats. Mm-hmm. The good thing is that the American people just simply don't believe him. We see the gas prices. We go to the grocery store and know we're paying more money. And that's why 3/4 of us feel like this country's on the wrong track.
Ian, we saw more MAGA and Trump bashing this week as well. We also now see Vice President Harris has been put in charge of a new disinformation commission. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, where do you even start? Kamala Harris in charge of anything should spark alarm bells. She's not exactly the most competent person we've ever seen in government, and that's saying something. But again, this all comes down to the focus on Trump. Trump is all the Biden administration has left. They don't really remember the fact that he is not in office anymore. He hasn't been in office for hundreds upon hundreds of days. And yet they have to keep the focus on Trump, whether it be through January 6th or any other means, because if you focus on Biden himself, you realize that he is just a colossal failure.
Kelly, even CNN getting in on kind of the Biden bashing, comparing him to Jimmy Carter. Take a listen to this.
How does President Biden's performance rate?
Awful. I
knew that was the answer.
The answer is awful. I mean, I'll compare it to Carter at this point in his presidency, right? Look at the disapproval rating Joe Biden has on inflation right now. It's over 70%. Carter was not even there at this point in mid-1978. When you're doing worse than Jimmy Carter's doing in the minds of Americans on inflation, you know that they're holding you responsible for the conditions that are currently on the ground that are hurting Americans in their pocketbooks.
All right, so when you lose CNN, you know you have a problem. But now on the flip side, Kelly, do Republicans have an agenda other than Biden's bad and the far left is bad? Do Republicans have an agenda to capitalize on an opportunity for real leadership here?
Tom, I hope they do. We haven't seen it yet, and it's been pushed down the line. They were supposed to unveil their agenda this month or next month. Now we hear it's going to be August. I certainly hope it comes before the midterms, because they are going to win. Republicans are going to win, and it's going to be largely because of how terrible the Joe Biden presidency is. But they've got to come in on day one with an agenda and with a plan, or voters will hold them responsible.
Right. Absolutely. Republicans, Ian, flipping a traditionally blue seat in Texas with Mayra Flores. She won a special election to represent the 34th district there. 85% of that district is Latino. Ian, how significant was this?
Well, I think it's incredibly significant from the left's perspective in that they have this obsessive view that anyone who's of any kind of ethnic minority will vote for them inherently. I think as conservatives, I think we need to step away from race as being any kind of important factor. But the fact is that the left don't see it that way, and this should stand as proof that they don't have the grip on minorities that they think they do, certainly since the Obama years. And just the fact that someone in Texas can come out, especially when the Democrats push immigration as such an important issue for Hispanics specifically, and Beto O'Rourke, who likes to present himself as Hispanic, is pushing the same argument. It just doesn't hold any weight right now, and I think that's a really great sign for Republicans and shows again that the Democrats really don't have anything beyond the identity politics they rely on.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Kelly Sadler and Ian Haworth, always great to see you both. You have a great weekend.
Thank you, Tom.
You too.